The phone rang late at night. The room was quiet. Outside, the world was sleeping. Inside the small room, a man was still awake. He was sitting alone, looking at the dark sky through a window. The stars were shining far away, silent and cold. When the phone rang, he did not move at first. He knew this call could change everything. Slowly, he picked up the phone. On the other side, a serious voice spoke. "We need you," the voice said. "This mission is dangerous. Very dangerous." The man closed his eyes. He had waited for this call his whole life. He was not a famous man back then. He was not a hero in the news. He was just a man with a dream that never let him sleep. A dream bigger than fear, bigger than common sense. Since childhood, he always looked at the sky. Other children played on the ground. He looked up. When birds flew, he watched them until they disappeared. When planes crossed the clouds, his heart beat faster. He always asked the same question. What is above that? Teachers told him to focus on books. Friends told him to be realistic. Family told him to choose a safe life, but the sky never left his mind. Years passed. He learned to fly planes, then faster planes, then dangerous ones. Every time he went higher, his fear became smaller. His dream became stronger, but even the fastest plane was not enough. The sky still had a limit, and he hated limits. That night, the phone call was not normal. This was not about flying a plane. This was about jumping from space. The voice on the phone explained slowly. Scientists were planning something never done before. A jump so high that no human had ever tried it. A jump from the edge of space. If something went wrong, there would be no second chance. No rescue, no help, just silence. The man listened carefully. He did not interrupt. He did not ask questions. His hands were calm, but his heart was racing. The voice continued. At that height, the voice said, "There is no air, your blood can boil, your body can spin out of control, you can lose consciousness in seconds." The man looked at the stars again. He whispered to himself, "This is it." The caller asked the most important question. "Are you ready to risk your life?" The room felt colder. This was the moment. Many people dream big dreams, but when danger becomes real, they step back. This man did not. Remembered all the nights he spent looking at the sky. All the times people laughed at his ideas. All the times fear tried to stop him. Slowly, clearly, he answered, "Yes." After the call ended, the room was silent again, but nothing was the same. The next morning, he traveled to a secret location, a place where scientists, engineers, and doctors were waiting. Everyone looked serious. No one was smiling. On the table were drawings, numbers, and plans. In the center was a picture, a man standing at the edge of space. Under him, Earth, above him, nothing. The leader of the team spoke. "This jump will break records," he said. "But records are not important, survival is." He explained the mission. A giant balloon would lift a small capsule higher than any balloon before. Inside the capsule, the man would sit alone. No pilot, no helper, just him. At the top, he would open the door and jump. The room became quiet. One scientist spoke softly. "If he spins too fast, he dies." Another added, "If the suit fails, he dies." A doctor said, "If he loses oxygen for seconds, he dies." Everyone looked at the man. He did not look afraid. But inside, fear was there. He was human. That night, he could not sleep. He imagined standing above the earth. He imagined the fall. He imagined the silence. He imagined death. For the first time, doubt touched his mind. What if I don't come back? He turned in bed. Then he remembered something simple. If I don't go, someone else will. And if no one goes, humans never move forward. Training started immediately. His body was pushed to limits. His mind was tested every day. Doctors checked his heart, lungs, brain. Engineers tested the suit again and again. The suit was not normal. It was like a small spaceship around his body. It had to protect him from cold, pressure, speed, and silence. One small tear could kill him. During one test, alarms went off. The suit failed. Everyone froze. If this happened in real jump, there would be no escape. Some team members suggested stopping the mission. "This is too risky," they said. The man listened. Then he spoke calmly. "Fix the problem," he said. "We continue." Days turned into weeks. The world outside did not know. News channels talked about normal things. People lived normal lives. But somewhere, a man was preparing to fall from space. One evening, the man stood alone again. He looked at the sky. But this time, the sky looked different. It was not just beautiful, it was dangerous, and waiting. The phone rang again. Another call. The final call. Weather conditions were changing. Time was limited. The mission had to happen soon or never. The man took a deep breath. Tomorrow, he would rise higher than any human before him. Tomorrow, he would stand where the sky ends. Tomorrow, he would jump. He packed nothing personal. No photos, no letters. He did not want emotions to slow him down, but before leaving, he stopped. He looked at the mirror. He saw not a hero. He saw a man afraid but ready. Outside, the night was quiet. The stars were still watching. And somewhere above them, space was waiting. The morning came too fast. The man woke up before the alarm. His eyes were open, but his mind was already far away. Outside the window, the sky looked calm. Too calm. Calm days are dangerous days. He sat on the bed and took a deep breath. Today was not a normal day. Today, every step mattered. One mistake and there would be no tomorrow. At the base, everything was quiet. Technicians moved slowly. No loud voices. No jokes. Everyone understood the risk. This was not excitement. This was focus. The balloon was lying on the ground like a giant sleeping animal. White, silent, powerful. The capsule stood next to it. Small, tight, alone. That capsule would soon carry a human higher than anyone before. Doctors called him in. Sit down, one said. They checked his heart. They checked his breathing. They checked his eyes. Everything looked normal, but the doctor asked a simple question. How do you feel? The man paused. I feel ready, he said. That was the truth, and also a lie. In another room, engineers were arguing. The pressure system is still risky, one said. The temperature can drop suddenly. Another replied. Numbers were moving on screens. Graphs changed every second. Nature does not care about plans. Weather can kill dreams. The man stood alone again. He wore normal clothes, but soon that would change. A technician held the helmet in his hands. It looked heavy, strong, lifeless. This helmet, the technician said, is your only friend up there. The man nodded. Friends were rare in space. As they helped him into the suit, everything became slow. The suit was tight. Very tight. He could not move freely. He could not scratch his face. He could not feel air on his skin. The suit closed around him like a shell. Inside, he heard his own breathing. Loud, clear, alone, a small problem appeared. A light on the suit blinked red. Engineers rushed. Seconds felt like minutes. If this problem stayed, the jump would stop. The man waited, silent. Finally, the light turned green. One engineer smiled, a small smile. We're good, he said. But no one relaxed. Not yet. The man walked toward the capsule. Every step was heavy. Cameras followed him, but he did not look at them. He looked straight ahead, at the sky. Before entering, he stopped. He placed one hand on the capsule, cold metal. This small space would soon become his entire world. Inside, there was no room to stand, no window to escape fear, just him. Inside the capsule, the door closed. The sound was final, click, no turning back. Balloon began to rise slowly, very slowly. At first, it felt peaceful. The ground moved away. Cars became dots. Buildings became toys. The man watched through a small window. Earth looked gentle from above, almost kind. Minutes passed, then hours. The sky changed color. Blue turned darker. The air became thin. The capsule became colder. The man spoke to mission control. His voice was calm. But inside his chest, his heart was beating fast. Too fast. At a certain height. The silence became strange. No wind, no sound, just breathing. Suddenly a warning sound. A soft beep. Mission control spoke quickly. Check your oxygen. The man looked at the gauge. Everything looked fine, but the beep continued. Engineers talked fast, too fast. The man listened. Then he said calmly, I'm okay. But was he? The silence returned. Higher, higher, higher. At the edge of space, the sky turned black. Not dark blue, black. Stars appeared, clear, sharp. Close, Earth curved below him. Beautiful, fragile. This was the point of no return. Mission control spoke. This is your last chance to abort. The man looked down. He saw the whole world. He thought of nothing. Then he answered, no abort. He stood up inside the capsule. The door in front of him looked small. Beyond it, death or history. He placed his hand on the door handle. It felt cold, very cold. His breathing became louder, faster. He slowed it down. In, out, in. Out. Mission control was quiet. The world was watching. The man opened the door. A wall of silence entered. No air, no sound, just space. He stepped forward, and the sky stared back at him. The door was open. But the man did not jump, not yet. He stood still at the edge of space. One hand holding the door frame. One foot inside the capsule. One foot close to nothing. Below him was the earth. Above him was space. Around him was silence. Real silence. This silence was not peaceful. It was heavy. It pressed on his mind. Mission control spoke in his ear. Take your time, a calm voice said, but time felt strange here. Seconds felt long. Minutes felt endless. Inside his helmet, the man could hear only one thing, his breathing, slow, then fast, then slow again. He forced himself to calm down. For the first time, his mind asked a dangerous question. Why am I here? Not because of fear, but because of reality. One step forward and there is no ground. He looked down again. The earth looked unreal. No sound, no movement, just a blue curve floating in black space. This was not a place for humans, and yet here he was. His heart beat harder. The suit felt tighter. Sweat formed inside the helmet. He wiped nothing. He could wipe nothing. A small voice appeared in his head. A quiet voice. A human voice. What if this is a mistake? He remembered the training. They told him fear would come. They told him fear would lie. Fear always tries to protect life even when life must be risked. Mission control checked in again. Vitals are stable, they said. Take a deep breath. He did in, out, but something was wrong. His hands felt strange. Light, almost numb, he looked at the gauges. Oxygen level normal. Pressure normal, heart rate high but acceptable. Everything looked fine, but his body felt different. At this height, the human body changes. Blood moves differently. Air feels fake. The brain can play tricks. Fear becomes louder. The man closed his eyes. He remembered being a child, lying on the ground, looking at the sky, dreaming without fear. Back then, falling felt fun. Now, falling meant death. Mission Control spoke again. You are clear to jump. Clear, the word sounded strange. Nothing was clear. Everything was unknown. He moved his foot forward, just a little. The edge was right there. Space waited patiently. His heart rate jumped. A warning beep sounded, not loud, but sharp. Doctors watched screens. Heart rate is rising, one said. Still safe, another replied. Safe, such a small word. The man froze. For a moment, he could not move, not because of fear, but because his brain refused. This was the last moment his body could say no. He spoke softly into the mic. I'm okay. But his voice was not fully steady. Mission Control heard it. They knew this was the hardest part, not the fall, the decision. Another voice came through, not technical, not cold, human. You trained for this, the voice said. You are ready. The man swallowed. He looked down one last time. He did not think about records. He did not think about history. He thought about one thing only, trust. Trust in the suit, trust in training, trust in himself. He placed both feet on the edge. Now there was nothing behind him, only forward. The silence became louder. His breathing slowed. His hands stopped shaking. Something changed inside him. Fear did not disappear, but it stepped back. He straightened his body, like a man standing tall before a storm. Mission Control counted softly. Whenever you're ready. No countdown, no pressure. The choice was his. The man leaned forward. Gravity woke up. The earth pulled him gently, then harder. For a split second, time stopped. And then he stepped off. The moment his feet left the edge, everything changed. There was no push, no sound, no wind. He did not feel like he was falling. He felt like the world was falling away from him. For the first second, his body floated. Then gravity grabbed him hard. The capsule was gone above him. The sky was black. The earth was far below, too far. His body began to turn, slowly at first, then faster. Inside the helmet, his breathing became loud again. Air rushed in and out, fast, too fast. Mission Control spoke. You are stable, keep position. But his body did not listen. He tried to spread his arms. The suit was heavy. Movement felt slow, like moving underwater. The spin increased. The stars began to blur. The earth started to twist. Up became down. Down became everywhere. This was the danger they feared most. Spinning. If the spin became too fast, blood would rush away from his brain. He could pass out. And if he passed out, he would never wake up. A warning beep sounded inside the helmet. Sharp, cold. Doctors watched the screens. Rotation increasing, one said. Heart rate rising, another added. The man spoke. His voice was strained. I'm spinning. Mission Control replied quickly. Slow movements, do not fight it. Easy words, hard action. He forced himself to calm down. Fear tried to take control, but panic would kill him faster than the fall. He remembered training. Small movements. Gentle corrections. Patience. He moved one arm just a little. The spin slowed, then started again. Faster. The earth rushed closer. Not fast enough to feel, but fast enough to see. The air around him thickened. Not much, just enough. For the first time he felt wind, a soft push, then stronger. The suit began to shake. Tiny vibrations, like the suit was waking up. His body shook harder. The fall became violent. Was now falling faster than any human before. Faster than sound. But there was still no noise. Suddenly, everything went quiet again. Too quiet. Mission Control spoke. No answer. Do you copy? Silence. The man's vision narrowed. The edges turned dark. His body felt heavy. Very heavy. Blood pulled away from his head. The spin returned. Harder. Inside the helmet, his breathing slowed. Not by choice, by force. Doctors panicked. We are losing his signal. Inside the suit. The man was fading. Thoughts became slow. Memories blurred. He remembered the sky as a child. Blue, safe. Darkness closed in. Then a sudden jerk. The spin stopped. Air pushed hard against his body, strong, violent. His vision returned. Light exploded back into view. He gasped, deep, painful, alive. The suit stabilized. The fall continued, but now controlled. Mission Control's voice returned. Signal restored. Relief filled the room, but no one celebrated. Not yet. The hardest part was not over. It was just beginning. The fall was no longer silent. Not in feeling. The air around him was now real, heavy, angry. His body cut through the sky like a bullet, but there was still no sound, only pressure. The suit began to shake harder, not small vibrations, strong hits like invisible hands were pushing him. Mission Control watched numbers jump, speed rising, altitude dropping, time moving fast. One engineer whispered, "He's about to break the sound barrier." The man did not hear that. Inside the helmet, his world was small. Breathing, pressure, pain, the air pressed against his chest. It felt like something heavy was sitting on him. Every breath became work. His arms tried to move. They felt heavy, like stone. The suit protected him, but it could not remove pain. At this speed, the human body is not made to fall. Bones feel stress. Muscles fight air. The brain struggles to stay clear. His vision started to shake. Not blur, shake. He focused on one thing, breathing, in, out, slow. Mission Control spoke. You are approaching maximum speed. The words sounded calm, but the room was not. Doctors watched heart rate numbers climb, too high, then drop, then rise again. The man felt his body flatten, not really, but it felt that way, like air was trying to crush him. Then something strange happened. The shaking changed. It became smoother, cleaner. Sure shifted. The fall felt different. Without hearing it, he passed the sound barrier. No boom, no noise, just a change. The air now flowed around him instead of fighting him. His body stabilized. For the first time since the jump, he felt in control. Mission Control confirmed it. He has broken the sound barrier. Silence filled the room, then quiet smiles, but still no cheers. The danger was not over. Speed can kill slowly too. The suit temperature began to rise. Air friction heated the suit, not fire, but heat. Warnings appeared, not red, yellow, still dangerous. The man felt warmth spreading, not comfortable, not deadly. Yet he adjusted position, small movements. Careful, the earth was much closer now. Details appeared, clouds, shadows, light. Time felt strange again. Too fast, too slow, then another problem. The spin returned, not strong but enough. The man reacted instantly. Training took control. Fear stayed quiet. Moved one arm, then the other. The spin slowed. Mission Control guided him. Hold that position. He did. Speed began to drop, slowly, naturally. The worst was passing, but mistakes here could still end everything. The man checked altitude, still high, still falling. The parachute was not ready yet. Too early would rip it apart. Too late would be death. This was a waiting game. His body started to feel tired. Very tired. Muscles burned. Mind felt heavy. He spoke softly. I'm okay. This time it was true. Mission Control replied. We see you, keep going. Below him, Earth waited. Above him, history had already changed. But survival was still not guaranteed. The speed slowly started to drop. Not because he wanted it to, but because gravity was changing its grip. The air was thicker now, much thicker. It pushed against his body from every side. The fall was no longer smooth. It was heavy, hard. His body began to feel tired. Not normal tired, deep tired. Every muscle ached. His arms felt weak. His legs felt slow. Breathing became harder again, not fast, but heavy. Each breath felt like lifting weight. Mission Control watched carefully. Speed dropping, altitude dropping faster, time running. The man tried to relax, but the body does not listen forever. His hands began to shake, small shakes, then stronger. Fatigue is dangerous. Tired hands make slow decisions. Slow decisions kill. Suit helped, but it could not move for him. A new warning appeared. Oxygen level still normal, but consumption was high, too high. Doctors exchanged looks. He's burning oxygen fast, one said. The man felt it too, a light pressure in his head, not pain, a warning. He focused on breathing, slow, controlled. He counted in his mind. 1, 2, 3. The earth was now clear. Clouds looked soft. Mountains appeared. Cities were still hidden. This part of the fall was long. Too long. The excitement was gone. The fear was quiet. Only effort remained. His arms dropped slightly. The position changed. Mission Control spoke fast. Correct your posture. He tried, but his body resisted. Muscles screamed. The suit felt heavier than before. For a moment he thought, what if I sleep? That thought scared him more than death. Sleep here meant blacking out. Blackout meant no parachute. No parachute meant nothing. He shook his head. Hard. Stay awake. He whispered. The shaking returned, stronger. The air pulled at him unevenly. Spin started again, slow, then faster. Mission Control reacted. Spin detected. The man moved his arm, too slow. Fear returned, sharp, real. Doctors watched heart rate drop slightly, not good. Too calm can be dangerous. The man fought his body. He forced movement, small, painful. The spin slowed, stopped. He gasped. A deep breath. The worst moment passed, but he was drained. The parachute altitude was getting closer. Not yet, but soon. The man checked the timer. Seconds felt heavy. Below him, Earth waited. Above him, the sky was blue again. He spoke. Voice weak but clear. I'm still here. Mission Control answered. We hear you. Relief spread, but one final challenge remained. The most important one. The air was loud now, not sound, but force. It pushed against his body from every side. The fall was no longer free. It was a fight. The man checked the altitude, still falling, but not much time left. Mission Control spoke clearly. Prepare for parachute. Those words carried weight. Too early, the parachute could tear apart. Too late, there would be no second chance. The man's hands moved slowly, very slowly. They felt heavy, tired. His fingers touched the handle, the most important handle of his life. His breathing was rough, not panic, exhaustion. The ground was closer now, details were clear. Clouds passed him fast, the suit shook again, the air became rough, unstable. The man checked his position, not perfect, but good enough. Mission Control watched closely, every eye on one screen, every heart racing. The man's body screamed to stop, but training spoke louder. Not yet, he whispered. Seconds passed. Each second felt heavy, his vision stayed clear, barely. Then the signal came. Parachute altitude reached. There was no drama, no pause, no fear. The man pulled the handle. Nothing happened. 1 second, 2 seconds, the fall continued. The man's heart jumped. Hard, Mission Control reacted. Wait, then a violent pull. The parachute opened, his body snapped upward. Hard, pain rushed through his chest. Air screamed now, the silence was gone. The fall changed into a swing, controlled. Alive, the man shouted, not words, just breathe. The parachute stabilized. White fabric above him. Strong, reliable. Mission Control erupted, but he did not hear it. He felt relief, deep, heavy. The ground approached slowly now. The world felt real again. He looked up. The sky was blue, not black. He was coming home. The world became quiet again, not the silence of space, but a soft, living silence. The parachute carried him gently. The ground moved slowly now, no rush, no fight. The man looked around. The sky was wide and blue. Clouds drifted calmly. It felt unreal. After everything, the world looked normal. His body was tired, every muscle hurt, but pain felt good. Pain meant life. The ground grew closer. Details appeared, trees, roads, people. Mission Control spoke. Landing zone is clear. The man adjusted his position. Carefully, slowly, the parachute responded, smooth, controlled. Then his feet touched the ground, not hard, not soft, just enough. He stumbled, fell to his knees. For a moment he stayed there, not moving, not speaking. Doctors and engineers ran toward him, but they stopped, they waited. The man removed his helmet. Air touched his face. Real air, warm. He took a deep breath, the deepest of his life. Tears filled his eyes, not from fear, from release. He looked up at the same sky, but not the same anymore. People clapped, shouted, cried, but the man stayed quiet. Inside his mind, everything was still falling. A doctor touched his shoulder. You did it, he said. The man nodded, slowly. Later, cameras surrounded him. Questions flew. How did it feel? Were you afraid? Would you do it again? He answered one question, quietly. It was not about falling, he said. It was about trust. Trust in science, trust in people, trust in courage. That jump changed something. Not just records, not just numbers. It showed that humans can face fear and step forward anyway. The sky would never feel the same again, because one man proved it could be reached.